Have you ever noticed how often you wake up around 3 a.m., staring at the ceiling in silence, wondering why sleep has suddenly escaped you? It's not just you. In fact, many older adults find themselves wide awake in the dead of night, even when they've done everything right. No caffeine, a quiet room, a cozy bed. Still, there you are, eyes open, mind racing, heart quietly asking, "What's wrong with me?" The truth? Nothing is wrong with you. And that's exactly what this video is here to show you. Waking up in the early hours, especially around 3 a.m., isn't just some random glitch in your sleep routine. It's your body's way of communicating. A signal, a whisper, a pattern trying to tell you something important. And once you understand it, everything changes. In this video, we'll explore 5 powerful reasons why so many seniors wake up at this exact hour. But we won't stop there. We'll go deep into the biology, the emotions, the habits, and the quiet wisdom behind these wake-ups. Each reason reveals a story that your body is trying to tell. And by the end of this journey, you'll not only understand your sleep better, you'll understand yourself better. This isn't just about fixing a frustrating habit. It's about honoring the beautiful complexity of aging and embracing the messages your body is sending you. So, if you've ever whispered "why now" into the darkness at 3 a.m., stay with me. The answers might just change how you see your nights and your days. Reason 1, reduced melatonin. It's 3:07 a.m. You're wide awake. Again, the room is quiet. The clock ticks slowly, and there's no noise, no light, no real reason you should be awake. But you are. And this happens more often than you'd like to admit. The reason could be something surprisingly simple, but incredibly powerful: melatonin. This small but mighty hormone is your body's natural sleep signal. It tells your brain when it's time to wind down, drift off, and stay asleep. But as we age, our bodies naturally begin to produce less of it. And for older adults, that drop in melatonin can mean waking up just when the night feels deepest. Melatonin levels don't suddenly crash. They decline slowly over the years. You might not notice the difference when you first go to sleep. In fact, you may drift off just fine at 10 p.m., feeling relaxed and ready for rest. But around 3 a.m., your body runs low on that sleep-sustaining signal. Without enough melatonin to anchor you in deep sleep, your mind drifts back to wakefulness. This is what happened to Harold, a 72-year-old grandfather who had always been a good sleeper. For most of his life, he'd fall asleep and stay that way until morning. But lately, something shifted. He started waking up around 3 a.m., not anxious, not upset, just fully alert. At first, he blamed stress. Then he blamed aging. Then he blamed the neighbor's dog. But eventually, he started reading about melatonin. He learned how light, even a faint glow from a hallway nightlight, or the soft blue of a digital clock, can disrupt melatonin levels in older adults. He also discovered that aging skin and eyes are less effective at signaling to the brain when it's time for night mode, making the hormones drop even more pronounced. So Harold made a few small changes. He swapped his bright bedside lamp for a warm amber one. He added blackout curtains to his bedroom. He took a short, slow walk just before sunset each evening to help his body sync better with natural light. And most importantly, he gave himself grace. When he still occasionally woke up early, he stopped seeing it as a problem and started treating it as a moment of quiet, time to breathe, stretch, and eventually drift back into sleep. These small, intentional shifts helped Harold reclaim his nights. Not perfectly, but meaningfully. Reduced melatonin isn't something you can stop from happening entirely. It's part of the natural rhythm of aging. But by understanding it, you can begin to work with your body instead of against it. You can dim the lights, limit screen time at night, take an evening walk, or talk with your doctor about supplements if needed. You don't need to battle your body for sleep. You just need to listen to what it's asking for, because sometimes the key to a better night's rest isn't trying harder, it's understanding deep. And once you understand how melatonin quietly fades with age, you can make small, compassionate adjustments that bring peace back to your nights. Reason 2. Shifted sleep cycle. Imagine this. It's barely 3 a.m. and you're lying in bed, eyes wide open. You're not in pain. You're not anxious. You just feel done sleeping. And that's confusing, especially when you went to bed at a perfectly reasonable hour. But what if your body's clock is simply running on a new schedule? As we grow older, one of the most common, but least talked about, changes in our body is a shift in our circadian rhythm. This is your internal clock, the biological system that tells your body when to feel alert and when to feel sleepy. In younger years, this rhythm typically favors a later bedtime and a steady, uninterrupted stretch of sleep. But with age, the rhythm begins to shift forward. This is known as advanced sleep phase syndrome, and it means your body wants to wind down earlier in the evening and wake up earlier in the morning. You might fall asleep naturally at 8:30 or 9 p.m., sometimes even unintentionally during your favorite TV show. And because your body still needs roughly the same amount of sleep, waking up at 3 or 4 a.m. isn't actually insomnia. It's just your body finishing its cycle sooner than expected. That's exactly what happened to Charles, a 68-year-old retiree. After leaving his job, his daily routine shifted. No more 9 to 5 schedule, no more early meetings, and no more late dinners. Without realizing it, his whole day moved earlier. He'd eat dinner at 5, be in his pajamas by 8, and often asleep before 9. At first, waking up at 3 a.m. felt like a curse. He'd lie in bed, wondering if something was wrong. But once he learned about the circadian shift that happens with age, everything clicked. Rather than fighting his early bedtime, Charles made a few tweaks to stretch his sleep window. He added a short evening walk to boost his energy after dinner. He started reading under a warm light for 30 minutes before bed. Some nights, he called a friend for a late evening chat. These simple activities signaled to his brain that it wasn't quite time to sleep yet, helping him delay his natural drowsiness and sleep a little later into the morning. The real magic came from understanding that waking early wasn't a sign of broken sleep. It was just different sleep. And with that realization, Charles stopped resenting his 3 a.m. wake-ups. He started using those moments to gently stretch, sip warm tea, or even meditate. Often, he found that his body naturally drifted back to sleep once it felt reassured, not judged. It's easy to feel frustrated when your sleep changes, but what if you looked at it differently? What if waking up early isn't a disruption, but a message from your body that your internal rhythm has simply evolved? Once you understand that your circadian clock is shifting forward, you can stop blaming yourself and start adjusting your lifestyle to match this new rhythm. A peaceful night's rest isn't about controlling your body. It's about listening to it and working with it, gently and respectfully. Reason 3. Physical discomfort and health interruption. Sometimes, the body doesn't need a loud alarm to pull you from sleep. Sometimes, all it takes is a small ache in your back, a slight cramp in your leg, or the quiet signal of a full bladder to wake you, right around 3 a.m. While it may seem random, these early wake-ups are often your body's way of waving a small flag, saying, hey, something needs attention. As we age, we become more physically sensitive to things we might have ignored in our younger years. Conditions like arthritis, acid reflux, or even mild dehydration can creep into the quiet hours of the night and disrupt sleep. And it's not just the big, scary health problems. It's the tiny discomforts that build up when you're still for hours. Hips that stiffen, knees that ache, shoulders that tingle from staying in one position too long. For some, the culprit is medication. Blood pressure pill, pain relievers, or even supplements can carry side effects like frequent urination or restless legs. These disruptions can be so subtle that you don't immediately connect the dots until you start waking up at the same time every night. That's exactly what happened to Eleanor, a 76-year-old woman who always valued her quiet night. But over the course of a year, she began waking up consistently around 3:30 a.m. She wasn't feeling anxious or scared, just awake, staring at the ceiling, wondering why rest suddenly felt so fragile. At first, she blamed age. Then she blamed her old mattress. But when she finally spoke with her doctor, something unexpected came up. The water pill she took each evening for blood pressure was increasing her nighttime urination and slightly dehydrating her muscles, causing cramps that nudged her awake. With a few small adjustments, changing the time she took her medication, adding a magnesium-rich snack before bed, and using a supportive pillow for her knees, her nights started to shift. She still woke occasionally, but it was less jarring. And more importantly, she felt empowered knowing that her body wasn't failing her. It was just speaking in a new language. These wake-ups aren't just interruptions. They're signals. Signals that something in your body needs a little more attention, a little more care. And when you start seeing these moments, not as nuisances, but as invitations to check in, everything changes. Maybe it's adjusting your sleep position. Maybe it's reviewing your medication timing. Maybe it's something as simple as keeping water by your bedside or using a humidifier to soothe dry airways. Whatever the solution, it starts with the same thing: listening to your body without judgment. If you've been waking up and thinking something must be wrong, consider this. Maybe your body is doing exactly what it's supposed to do, alerting you, adjusting, and asking you to care for it in new ways. That's not a weakness, that's wisdom. And responding with patience and curiosity is one of the kindest things you can do for yourself during these tender hours. Reason 4. Lifestyle habit shifts. Sometimes the reason you're waking up at 3 a.m. isn't about what's wrong with your body. It's about what your daily habits are quietly teaching it. As life slows down after retirement and routines become softer and more flexible, small shifts begin to ripple into your sleep without you even realizing. Think about your evenings. Do you find yourself eating dinner earlier than you used to? Maybe around 5 or 6 p.m.? Do your evenings tend to wind down with soft lighting, a warm drink, and a comfy chair? All of that is comforting, but it also begins telling your body it's time to sleep. If you fall asleep around 8:30 or 9, then waking at 3 a.m. might not be insomnia. It could be your body simply finishing its natural cycle. These gentle lifestyle changes aren't bad, but they create a domino effect. Less sunlight in the evening. That signals melatonin production to start early. Fewer physical activities during the day. That can lead to less physical fatigue at night. Less mental stimulation. Your mind winds down faster. Without even trying, you may be training your body to sleep and wake earlier, and then wondering why you're alert while the rest of the world is still asleep. Walter, a 74-year-old retired teacher, experienced exactly that. After decades of rigid school schedules and busy days, retirement felt like a gift. He began having dinner by 5:30, settled in to watch his favorite news show at 6, and often found himself dozing off by 8. He'd climb into bed soon after and was fast asleep before 9 most nights. But the problem? He started waking up at 3 a.m., feeling completely awake and unsure why. He tried everything: chamomile tea, avoiding screens, even changing his pillows. But what finally helped was something simpler. Walter began tweaking his routine just a little. He started taking an afternoon walk around 4:30, eating dinner a little later, and saving his favorite TV shows for after sunset. He added a light hobby, wood carving, which kept his hands busy and his mind engaged in the evening hours. It didn't happen overnight, but within a few weeks, Walter found himself falling asleep a bit later and waking up closer to 5 or 6 a.m. Not only did he feel more rested, but he felt more in sync with his own rhythm. This is the power of routine. Your body watches what you do every day and responds. If you go to bed early without needing to, your sleep cycle will end early too. But if you reshape your evening habit just slightly, you can gently guide your internal clock to better match the rest you're truly seeking. So if 3 a.m. has become your regular wake-up call, it might not be your age or your health. It might just be your daily rhythms whispering a little too early. It's morning now, and the good news, with a few mindful shifts, you can teach your body to whisper that message later. Reason 5. Emotional and psychological restlessness. Sometimes when you wake up at 3 a.m., it's not your body making noise. It's your heart. It's not pain or light or bladder urgency. It's quieter than that, more subtle. It's memory. It's emotion. It's the echo of something unresolved or something deeply felt, rising in the stillness when everything else is finally silent. This emotional wake-up doesn't always feel like anxiety. It's not a racing heart or panicked thoughts. For many older adults, it's more like a whisper, an ache of loneliness, a moment of reflection, or an unexpected thought from long ago. You may lie there with a name in your head, a face you haven't seen in years, or a question you never got to ask. These moments are tender and very human. The truth is, aging doesn't just affect the body. It gives the mind more room to wander. In the quieter chapters of life, there's less noise to drown out what you've carried for decades. And at 3 a.m., when the world is hushed and the day's distractions are asleep, your deeper thoughts rise to the surface. Gloria, an 80-year-old widow, knows this feeling well. During the day, she keeps busy, tending her garden, video chatting with her grandkids, reading mystery novels, but at night, around 3 a.m., she often wakes up and lies there, thinking about her late husband. Sometimes it's a memory of their travels. Sometimes it's a moment of quiet sadness that he's not there beside her. And sometimes it's just a yearning, not even for him specifically, but for connection, for comfort, for someone to share her thoughts with. At first, Gloria thought something was wrong with her sleep. She tried adjusting her routine, changing her pillows, even taking melatonin. But nothing changed that 3 a.m. Eventually, with the help of a support group, she realized that what was waking her wasn't physical at all. It was emotional, and instead of fighting it, she started embracing it. She began keeping a small journal on her nightstand. When she woke up, she'd write down whatever was on her mind. Just a few lines, no rules. Some nights, it was a memory. Other nights, it was a message to her younger self. Slowly, those early hours stopped feeling so frustrating and started feeling meaningful, a gentle check-in with her heart. She also added a new bedtime habit, writing one kind thing to someone she loved, a quick postcard, a text scheduled for the next morning, or even a note she'd read to herself. That small ritual gave her emotions a place to land, and her sleep gradually softened. What Gloria learned is something many people never realize. Emotional restlessness is not a flaw. It's a signal that there's something in you that wants attention, compassion, or closure. And sometimes your soul picks 3 a.m. because that's the only time you're quiet enough to listen. So if you find yourself awake and thinking, not tossing and turning, but simply feeling, know this: you're not broken. You're beautifully human. You're remembering, processing, living. And perhaps the best thing you can do is honor it. Write it down, breathe through it, let it move through you like a gentle wave. Because the path to better sleep doesn't always begin with fixing your schedule or adjusting your pillow. Sometimes it starts with listening to what your heart's been holding for a very long time. Final thoughts. As we come to the end of this journey, let's pause for a moment and truly take in what we've uncovered together. Waking up at 3 a.m. isn't just a random frustration. It's not a failure of your body or proof that you're broken. It's a message, sometimes biological, sometimes emotional, sometimes spiritual. And that message deserves to be heard. not ignored. You've just walked through 5 powerful reasons why these early morning awakenings are so common as we grow older. From reduced melatonin level to shifted sleep cycles, from physical discomforts to lifestyle shifts, and even the gentle emotional stirrings of a heart that's lived through decades of love, loss, laughter, and reflection. Each reason reveals something deeper about who you are, where you've been, and how your body continues to change. There's nothing wrong with you. There's nothing shameful about waking up while the rest of the world sleeps. In fact, it means your body is still trying, still adapting, still working with the rhythms of life, and your mind, it's still processing, still remembering, still caring. Whether you're like Harold, learning to support your changing melatonin levels with small evening habits, or like Charles, gently stretching your bedtime to align with your natural sleep cycle, or like Elalanor, finally connecting a health routine with your nighttime wakefulness, or like Walter, realizing that your daytime rhythms shape your nighttime rest, or even like Gloria, whose heart simply needed a quiet moment to breathe. You now know that your 3 a.m. wake-ups are part of a much bigger story. This isn't just about sleep. It's about understanding your body and your mind in a new light. It's about releasing guilt and replacing it with curiosity. It's about shifting from "what's wrong with me" to "what's my body trying to tell me?" And that small shift in perspective can make a world of difference. You are not alone in this experience. Millions of older adults quietly lie awake at 3 a.m., wondering the same thing. But now, you know the why. And more importantly, you know how to respond with kindness, strategy, and grace. So if you're still watching, ask yourself, what spoke to you the most? Which part of this video felt like it was written just for you? Was it the science, the stories, the reflection? We'd truly love to hear from you. Leave a comment below and share your thoughts. Whether it's something new you learned, a small change you plan to make, or simply a moment in the video that resonated with your own experience, your words help others feel less alone. And they remind us all that aging, with all its shifts and surprises, is not the end of growth. It's the beginning of deeper understanding. If you found this video helpful, please consider liking it, subscribing to our channel, and turning on the bell so you never miss a moment of insight or inspiration. Your support helps us continue creating content that speaks directly to your life and your journey. Thank you for spending this time with us today. Here's to gentler nights, kinder mornings, and a newfound respect for the messages your body and soul whisper in the still hours. We'll see you in the next video.